What a day for days! Okay, those of you who know me, I can't even get this out. I'm Holly Kramer Birkenstedt, and I'm a proud capital campaign chair for DAYS. And I want to thank you all for coming out today to help us celebrate this wonderful breaking of ground for our new home of DAYS. Finally, an emergency shelter for victims of domestic violence that we can be proud of in Dane County. Each speaker today will have a chance to say what his or her purple shovel represents. My purple shovel represents an amazing community. We have had phenomenal support for DAYS as we launched this capital campaign and also built a lot of awareness for DAYS. This day would not have come without all of the hard work of you and many, many others in our community and the generosity that has been shown to us. There are already over 1,000 donors to this campaign. Gifts that are large and small, and lots more to come. Not long ago, people really didn't know too much about DAYS. But now we all know it's not DAYS, it's DAYS. It's Domestic Abuse Intervention Services, and we are going to soon have a really public facility here so people don't forget. I'm grateful that those days are behind us and people now know it's DAYS. In giving up your time, talent, and treasures, you help spread the word about DAYS and help bring domestic violence out of the shadows and started a conversation about it so that we can maybe try to eliminate it, but a conversation that's never been before. Thank you. We couldn't be here without all of you. Now I'd like to turn it over to Boo and Lauren Mortensen so that we can get on to the rest of the program.
Wow. Kind of all I can say is looking out over faces of a couple hundred Madison's finest that care about their fellow citizens and have come through in a marvelous way. Holly said it. Over 1,000 people have contributed. So it's not just a couple of big hunks. It's a lot of people who care about their friends and their neighbors, all economic strata, and we're going to do something about it. And this place is where it's going to happen. A lot of it's going to happen. What this facility means to me is that this is home and hope for a lot of deserving people who have encountered a lot of difficulties in their lives. They've been shoved into the corners and literally beaten and deprived of many of the treasures of life, deprived of hope. Come on in here and sorry that you had to come, but if you come in here, you're going to be respected, you're going to be loved, you're going to be acknowledged as having a future. Your children, their animals. This is going to be a place filled with love, respect, and you guys all make that happen. You know, I probably get choked up I guess I got it. And back here, who brought this problem, if you will, to me as the board of DAYS board, and she came up here to check out the DAYS facility here, and it was a pretty sad old to for battered women and children, and so we've got to do something. And thank God that she did, because this is going to be something I think we can all be very proud of. I'm talking loud enough. It doesn't happen very often, does it? But something we can all be very proud of, and there's going to be facilities here for. Going to be facilities here for. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, God.
Turn over to him.
I don't like to hear my voice very much, do I? No, seriously, this is going to be a place where you have legal counsel and help, where they can find job placement, where they can recruit their health, their children's health, and animals. It's going to be a place where a lot of people will get back to respecting themselves and contributing to our community. So, at any rate, thank you guys for all you've done. It seems, how long has it been, Jan? 2 years, 3 years?
Long time, Warren.
Long time. And I kept
Time to wrap it up.
Get that.
Right. It's time for us to wrap this
No, I'm
project
not
up.
through yet.
I wasn't wrapping you up, but that's not a bad
All right,
idea.
well, it's been a fun trip, and I'm not wrapped up yet, but I love you all, and I respect you all, and I know that we're all going to have a fun time here, and now that I have another pleasure, I have introduce my friend Paul Soglin. He's kind of a politician locally here, and he has a few announcements and some good wishes, I hope. Paul?
Okay. First, I just have got to observe that I've been to more than one groundbreaking over the years, and I've never seen a groundbreaking with a crowd this large. It's just incredible. Where was it? It's a tribute to the board, the staff, and all the supporters. Now, in regards to the meaning of the shovel, one of the things that we know is that trauma is one of the most significant impediments to children learning. It doesn't matter how good the school is or how dedicated the teacher. But if a child is suffering from trauma, whether it may be violence that they witness in their neighborhood, on the streets, or there's violence that they witness and experience in their own homes, that plays a significant role in their future. It plays a significant role in their development. It plays a significant role in their learning experience. And tragically, it plays a significant role as adults when they come to treat others, in too many instances, in the same way that they were treated. In the building, development of this facility, we're going to go a long way to changing the course of hundreds of young lives and those that they will touch in the future. And that's why this is such a great project. Thank you. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our County Executive, Joe Breezy, who is so dedicated to the mission of DACE.
I don't know how many of you noticed that Shannon came up and took the mayor's balloon when he was talking. Okay. Well, thank you all for being here today. It's so exciting to come together to celebrate victories. And I guess what this shovel represents to me, it's a lot of things, but above all, it represents an incredibly caring and generous community. They're the people standing in front of me today, they're the people throughout our community who care about issues, who want to make a difference, and when they're given a solid plan, a specific way that they can make a difference in people's lives, they step up to the plate, as our community did in this case, and I couldn't be more proud. I think it's also important that this represents the trust and the esteem in which we hold the day's organization, the staff, the board, all of the volunteers, and the brave people who access the services of Days. Without that reputation, without that trust that we have in this organization, this simply wouldn't have been possible, because the people who stepped up to help make this happen knew that the money they were investing would be well spent and knew that they could trust this organization. And I think we have to stop for a minute and realize just how fortunate we are that the people associated with Days have dedicated their lives to such a rewarding but such an incredibly challenging path. So thank you for that. Well, I think it's important, again, that we celebrate our successes. I think it's important that we just, again, remind ourselves that this is just one step on a long journey toward ending domestic violence. That we should see an adequate shelter system as the bare minimum that we have to accomplish. I don't think we can look, across the state, if we have shelter for every victim who needs it, as a victory. It's the least we can do. It's a symptom. And now, in some ways, work that's even more challenging can be the focus of our attention. And I know Days does this already, and they do it at the same time as they're treading water, trying to keep people safe. And that's asking the tough questions about the genesis of domestic violence. And I think we all have to look at this as a society, not just women, but men in particular. We have to ask the tough question, why is it that the vast majority of perpetrators are men? What is it in our society and our culture that for too many people, violence is seen as an option? So I'm so happy and I feel so fortunate that we have an organization like Days that will keep pushing that envelope. And I think it's important that we keep pushing that envelope with them to ask the tough questions. And as I've said in the past, while this is an important day and a good day, I look much more forward to the one day when we can begin decommissioning shelter because we've addressed the root problem. But for today, let's celebrate and let's be grateful, and thank you again so much. And it's my honor to introduce Days Executive Director, Shannon Berry.
So one of the things I appreciate most about Holly is that she cries more than I do. But I'm still probably going to be crying, so just bear with me. So as you heard, I'm Shannon Berry. I'm the Executive Director of Days. And this purple shovel... I haven't even said anything yet. This purple shovel, to me, represents hope. And this is something that we've long dreamed about and worked really hard towards. And this hope is coming to fruition. And so as I stand here and look out at all of you today, I can't help but be reminded that it was August 1st of 2012, less than a year ago, where we last stood here to announce the public phase of our capital campaign. And a lot has happened since that day. There have been tremendous highs, some disappointing lows, a few quiet moments, not very many, but a couple of quiet moments, and followed by a very wild ride. And through it all, there were three things to do. Hold on, keep going, and be grateful. And grateful we are. All of us at Days know that we would not be here if it were not for the incredible support of some old friends and many, many new friends. Our amazing supporters have given so generously, some of them multiple times. And those who did, they were those who did not hesitate to stand up and say, I will, for days. Those who found fun, creative, sometimes one-time opportunities to give of their time, talent, and treasure to support this campaign. Those who are willing to give and serve on a regular basis, our board of directors, board of trustees, past and present, our capital campaign team, our building committee, and our amazing design build team, Ideal Builders and Potter Lawson. And those who helped us early on with our marketing, those folks from Good for Business. The honorary co-chairs of our capital campaign, Lauren and Drew Mortensen, and Lauren made me start crying over there, but luckily I was with Holly, we could cuddle. And certainly our chair of our capital campaign, Holly Bergstadt, who said a long time ago, I will for days. And words really cannot begin to express our gratitude. We're grateful for those community leaders, businesses and citizens from Mount Horeb to Wanakee, from Sun Prairie to Verona, Fitchburg to Middleton, and certainly here in Madison. Those who rely on the day's shelter and services for their neighbors, families, and friends who experience domestic violence, but they are all coming forward to be a part of the dawning of a new days. And so today, we get to break ground. These are the words I have been wanting to say for so many years. And it's our ground. Ground with an address. 2102 Fordham Avenue, Madison, Wisconsin. And it's not an undisclosed location, but in full public view. A home, as Lauren said, a place that we can all be proud of. Not a worn, tired, cramped building, but a place that neighbors will pass on a daily basis and enter to give, volunteer, and support days and those we serve. A place where a client will walk through the doors and they will know that our community came together and built this for them and for others who seek safety. Let it take long. And it's a place that belongs to all of us. All of us. And this is quite a moment and quite a time. Time to break ground for a new home and time to break ground for new days. And as we break ground today, we stand on the shoulders of those who gave us our roots, those who started working in a church basement as Dane County advocates for battered women 36 years ago, and scratched for every dime as they told our community that we needed to provide support to victims of domestic violence and their families. They couldn't offer much more than a crisis line, but that crisis line saved lives. Those volunteers and staff members who, throughout our 36-year history, provided leadership, dared to dream, and believed that this day would really come. I know some of us had doubts along the way, but I always believed. And as we break ground today, we are a community that will say enough is enough, a community that is committed to taking domestic violence out of the shadows, and a community who is willing to come together to make sure that there is hope and safety for one and for all. And as we break ground today, we remember those who cannot stand with us, those whose lives have ended as a result of domestic violence, but whose lives continue to fill our hearts and ignite our passion. Those who inspire us through their own bravery and their courageous family members to carry on as tireless advocates. Those who move us all to action on a daily basis and remind us that we must not falter, we must not stop, we must keep going. And as we break ground today, we honor those who've experienced domestic violence and survived and thrive and share their stories so that others may imagine and live a life without fear. And as we break ground today, we anticipate, and let me say that again, we eagerly anticipate the summer of 2014 when we'll be cutting a ribbon rather than breaking ground. We've come so incredibly far, but we have a ways to go before that day. We have just over $2 million to raise to complete the capital campaign. Knight in shining armor. In many ways. So we ask that you please tell friends and family members and neighbors that they too can say, I will for days. and that they can help us meet that capital campaign goal. So glamorous. My mother's sitting in the back, but I'm sure she's just like, where was your Kleenex, dear? Will do. And we want you to tell people that they can still be a part of this and that everyone can do something. Because though dirt is lovely, ribbons are much prettier, especially purple ones. And today, as we break ground, we celebrate. Because soon we will have so much more to offer those we serve. Those like the little girl who approached me one day as I was walking through shelter, beckoned to me and whispered into my ear, "I love it here." Those like the woman who was staying in our shelter who was stuck late at work and called our helpline because she wanted to make sure that the shelter staff knew she was on her way home. On her way home. Or those many, many people who have approached me at various functions and fundraisers and community events to tell me that days saved their lives or the lives of people that they love. So soon, we will be able to offer 56 beds, not 25, more program space to serve our clients in shelter and the community, and a new home filled with spaces where people can sit alone or gather to heal and rebuild. A safe place, a secure place. So today is our day. It belongs to all of us. And I know that each of you have been supporters in your own way, and we count you among our many, many friends. You helped bring us here. And so after we do our ceremonial groundbreaking, we're going to invite you to come up and take a purple shovel and be part of that as well. Take photos. Be a part of this because you were a part of getting us to this point, and we hope that you'll continue to be a part of this in the future. And so, with our purple shovels, hard hats, and grateful, grateful hearts, let's break ground in celebration of New Day.